Hey guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It is 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I was not even going to make a video today. I've got to go for pre-surgery physical in about 2 hours, and but I'm furious after reading. I've watched the news for a couple hours already, and I've been reading the news, and I'm not happy. I called this whole thing about in a video probably about a week ago that when Trump appointed Pence as his coronavirus czar, I thought to myself, okay, the history of Donald Trump shows that he has never once taken responsibility for anything. He's never once said that he made the slightest mistake. As like I said, I live most intelligent people live by the rule that we learn from our mistakes, we grow from our mistakes. Real men take responsibility, take charge, take the lead, and weak men will pass the buck, look for someone to blame, point the finger, and that's exactly what we got. As I was saying, when he appointed Pence as the coronavirus czar, as whatever you want to call it, I thought to myself, why Pence? Why now? After 3 years, Trump has probably never even said Pence's name more than once or twice. And now all of a sudden, we're in the biggest emergency pandemic that the country's ever seen, probably. And Trump pulls his second guy behind him out in front and pushes him out into the limelight. Tell me what that's all about. So what I'm getting at here is a tweet from Donald Trump yesterday talking about the Chinese virus. The last thing we need right now is these international tiffs, these conspiracy theories that it's some kind of domestic or international terrorism, or it's all their fault, or it was something they did wrong, or it's your fault. It's your fault. No, we need to come together and work together, and most of all, I think we need to share medical information, statistics, data, and work towards a solution. I think we all need to share the data. I think that's one of the most important aspects. I haven't heard one thing. I have not heard one recommendation, decree, whatever, by the federal government. All across the country, states are acting independently. As of this morning, 32 states in the country have closed schools. The other ones, who knows? Here in Connecticut, yesterday, it was our governor closed all the gyms, all the restaurants, all the movie theaters, the bars, everything. The schools here have been shut across the state for 2, 3 since Monday, and possibly back to last Friday. But here's the thing: it's a hodgepodge. One state's doing this, one state's doing that. It's mayhem. It's mayhem. Everybody's handling it differently. I can't imagine how each state is handling the information that they're receiving. Each patient has a history, and who they contacted, and how they contracted this, how they contracted the disease. And this needs to be there needs to be a central. There's a lack, and then not to mention the CDC is in disarray. I'm not even going to get into to Trump's taking apart the CDC a couple of years ago. Here's the thing, too. Here's the thing. This is bad, but it could have been so much. It could and it will be worse in the future. Something eventually will happen that will make this look like a walk in the park. And if we can't, right now, every store in this entire county is empty. The shelves are empty. The restaurants are closed. Where do you get food right now? People haven't started running out of food yet. I guess that good old Second Amendment is going to come in handy, because we're going to have to start hunting. Seriously, when I went into my local my supermarket down the street. It's each day. I commented Sunday on how we were doing good here. There was still quite a bit of stuff on the shelves. Yesterday, the shelves were bare, empty shelves throughout the entire store, throughout the entire this whole county, this whole area. The stores are empty. I don't know if they're even open. Restaurants are closed. The restaurants are either delivery or takeout right now, and that's only some of them. The rest are just closed and sent everybody home. So sooner or later, probably sooner, I imagine, there's going to start being some shortages on food. I don't know how the distribution, the trucking companies and the food warehouses are functioning during this time either. I don't know if they're continuing with their deliveries. I don't know. And that's the whole point. I don't know, and nobody else knows either. We're not picking on Donald Trump here. Don't get this wrong. This is a failure of a trial by fire, and he failed. He's failing miserably. Back to this thing with China, with Jina, as he calls it, Jina. Yeah, he called it the Jina virus yesterday. Again, it's a man with no scientific knowledge, a man who thinks science is a hoax, a man who thinks asbestos doesn't cause cancer. That's true too, man. I could not believe that. I thought this has got to be bull. I'm sorry to get sidetracked, but I just got to talk about this. When I heard that Donald Trump has talked about the fact that he thinks that asbestos is okay, it doesn't really cause cancer, it's a hoax. I was like, this can't be right. No way. Nobody, no rational, semi-literate person at this point actually would think that asbestos. I know. My girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend's father died of inhaling asbestos working on brakes. So yeah, don't tell me that asbestos doesn't freaking cause cancer, because I watched a dude die. This is the guy. This is the guy that we have in charge right now. Yeah. So anyway, this is all off the top of my head. Like I said, I'm sorry if I'm a little disarray, a little emotional, a little upset. I didn't even plan on making a video, but tell you the truth, I didn't even read very far into the article about. I saw I read Trump's tweet about the China virus, and it wasn't at all just that term, the China virus. If I wanted to cut Trump slack, I could say, look, okay, he's just referring to where he believes the flu originated, because we still don't know if it definitely did originate in China or not. Not that it matters, but that's scientifically it's more associated with birds, if you're going to call it something. And so I could almost cut him a little slack. Okay, he's just calling the China flu because he thinks that's where it originated. But it went further than that. The tweet went further. The tweet, and I'm sure you guys will all have read it by the end of today. I'm not going to bother reciting it, but it almost gives it like a warlike stance. That the U.S., it's like he makes it sound like it's an attack from China on the United States and will prevail and be stronger than ever. It's an effort to blame somebody else, to say that we were attacked by China. It's their fault. And here's the thing, man. I've already heard Trump supporters about a week ago saying, "Oh, China, that China. We shouldn't why are these planes coming from China?" And I said, this was about a week and a half ago. And I said, because of international trade, because of business, because that's how the world works. There was Trump supporters saying to me about 9 days ago, why do people come here from China anyway? Why do we have planes going back and forth to China? They don't even understand simple domestic and business travel. and international trade. They don't even comprehend that. They think we could just wall off the whole country and exist all by ourselves. I think that's their mission, xenophobia. So they're already looking 8 or 9 days ago. It's bizarre because they were already looking for somebody to blame, and I guarantee Trump has heard this. Trump's got feedback from his base that their xenophobia is kicking in, and he just went right on. He fed right on it. His base was already saying China, it's China's fault. Those damn little. I'm not gonna. I almost there's defamatory terms to address Asian people, and I'm sure they've used them, similar to when we were in Vietnam and stuff. And I'm not gonna repeat any of those words, but now's not the time, man. We're dealing with a virus. It's a virus. It's a microscopic virus that's functioning as any other living organism does, mutating, and survival of the fittest. This virus, its goal is basically like the goal. Our goal is to live as long as possible and propagate and have offspring. That's to put it simply. That's how it functions. I was reading on how the most successful mutation will be one that incubates for a long time, so it's spread to a lot of people and doesn't kill its host, or at least not immediately. So the host spreads the virus. So it's amazing how the virus, it's a living organism, and it functions like a living organism. Its DNA its natural drive is to make more DNA, is to make more viruses. It's amazing. But that being said, that little biology spiel being said, our enemy here is not China, or Jina, as our illiterate president calls it. It'd be nice if we had a president again. Again, I'll bring up Harry S. Truman, and the buck stops here. I get goosebumps, man. That is a man. That's a leader. What do we have now? We have a man-child. And this is something that Trump can't tweet away. He can't bully it away. Every other thing he's faced, he's made up nicknames for. Sloppy Joe, Messy Mike, Tiny Tim. Can't do that with this, man. Can't bully the virus. So what's he going to try to? He's going to try to blame it on somebody. These aren't the actions of a leader. They're not. And the states are in disarray. There's no conformity to what's going on. So when one state enacts like what we did here, closing the bars, the movie theaters, the restaurants, the gyms, and the state next to us doesn't do that, these viruses don't know that there's a border between Connecticut and New York. Or I'm just using New York. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure New York's doing the same thing. But you get what I'm saying. If we're not acting in unison, we're only as strong as our weakest link. There's my point. That means all of our actions are for nothing, because it's going to be spread in other bars and gyms and spread back to here, or other places, other states that don't follow the same regulations that we're adhering to. That means it's all for nothing, because it's just going to spread more in that state and come right back here through interstate travel, through everything else. We need to be all on the same page here. And that is the job of the federal government, of the president, of the man who went on and on with his rallies, telling us that he was the man for the job, that he knows the most about everything. Well, here's your chance. Here's your chance to prove it. All right, you guys have a good Tuesday.